Welcome back in. I am beyond psyched, you know, I always say I'm pumped or I'm psyched about a video, but it has never been more true than for this one, because on today's video, we talk about some of the craziest NBA stories of all time. Without any further ado, let's just get into it. Let's go.
Back to the
First up, kind of well-known crazy man and bit of a buffoon, Charles Barkley. Yeah, back in 1997, he was in an Orlando bar where someone, for some reason, was in an altercation with someone else in the bar, chucked a bottle over Charles Barkley's head. Charles Barkley got pissed off, to say the very least, and pissed off to the extent that he picked the guy up, who was a foot shorter than him, picked him up, and threw him out a glass window where he fell on the ground. And no, Charles Barkley showed absolutely no guilt, nothing of that kind, and in court he actually went on to say, in trial, he said, yeah, I regret that we were on the first floor. That's Charles Barkley, and that's what he thought of the situation. I regret that we were on the first floor after throwing a guy a foot shorter than him out the glass window and onto the ground. I regret that we were on the... You just can't make this stuff up. It is just insane. It is insane. So that happened back in 1997. That is just unreal. That is amazing and unreal, hilarious. Fortunately, the guy was not hurt, and oh my goodness, why, Charles, why? Next up, this one just makes me so extraordinarily happy. So, of course, you've heard of all the times that this has gone wrong, 99.9% of the time, where, let's say, an NFL fan decides to get a New York Giants 2017 Super Bowl title winner tattooed right on his shoulder, or in, let's say, 2017, someone gets a Cleveland Cavaliers tattooed right before the start of the NBA Finals. Yeah, this is kind of like that, except it went right, and it wasn't just a fan, no, it was Jason Terry. In 2010, the year before the Dallas Mavericks won the championship, Jason Terry got a tattoo of an NBA championship trophy on his arm. 1 year later, the next winner of the championship, of the trophy, of the NBA Finals, yeah, that's right, it was Jason Terry and the Dallas Mavericks. So kudos to him. It's just dope as hell, and that just makes me want to give him a big round of applause, because that is dope as hell. Those are my thoughts on that. This next one's pretty awesome as well, and it comes from Steve Nash's younger days. And what happened was, so while Steve Nash was at college at Santa Clara, he would still go back to Victoria to train, play basketball, be with his family and friends. And one time while Steve Nash was on break from Santa Clara and he was in Victoria, since there aren't very many courts in Victoria, oftentimes he would have to go to a court where there were a lot of people playing there. And at this one court, this one day, there were these three kids playing, three high schoolers playing, and there were three of them. They were playing on the good side of the court. It was a full court. One rim was terrible, one rim was fine, and the net was fine as well. So they were playing on that court, and Steve Nash and his buddy rolled through, and they said to these three kids, we'll play you 2-on-3 for the court. And yeah, that's right, the kids were annihilated. So just a fun story, kind of awesome to tell, kind of just a fun story overall. But yeah, that'll happen if you're Steve Nash, two-time MVP. Yeah, that'll happen. So this next one is just another amazing story. These are all so much fun to tell. So this next one is Tim Duncan. Everyone knows Tim Duncan is an absolutely outstanding guy. Everyone knows Tim Duncan is a really nice guy as well. And you don't really come across that in sports too often. Not just not talking any trash, not just not talking any trash, but being a genuinely nice person on the court. And you'll get where I'm going with that in a minute, because this is really just crazy, mind-boggling stuff that you don't normally see in the NBA. We're much more used to the Kevin Garnett's, the Kenyon Martins, the Rasheed Wallaces, talking a hell of a lot of just nasty trash during games than this. So, Eaton Thomas, former Washington Wizard, was telling this story after one time he was playing Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan blocked his shot, and then Timmy said, that was a good move, but you have to get more into my body next time. And as a matter of fact, next time down the court, Thomas went up and scored, and then Tim Duncan said in response, that's right, much better. Crazy. You just don't hear that. And hey, Timmy's Timmy, Hall of Famer, first ballot, baby, Timmy. But that's just such a great, heartwarming story. I love that one. This next one you're probably not gonna believe just because of how crazy it is, but believe it or not, it is in fact true. So back in the day, way before Mark Cuban, Don Carter bought the Dallas Mavericks. Now, why did he buy the Dallas Mavericks? Was he an incredible basketball fan? Did he have a lot of money? Was it an investment for him? None of those things. But he was a very wealthy entrepreneur, and his wife was quote unquote a basketball guru, and he made a promise a long time before, and respect for keeping it, much respect, but you can see where I'm going with this. He made a promise to his wife that if he got enough money, he would buy her the Dallas Mavericks as a gift. Yes, you heard that correctly. He would buy the entire franchise as a gift for his wife. So what did he do? He bought the entire franchise as a gift for his wife. He just bought the franchise for his wife. Neither of them had any interest, or he didn't have any interest, and she was just a basketball fan. Had no interest in running the franchise, legitimately running the franchise. So they did for a bit, eventually sold to Mark Cuban, and then Mark Cuban later on, when they won the title, back to the Mavs, back 2 stories on that Mavs title, but he did let Carter and his wife accept the trophy on stage, unlike most, where the current owner usually goes up there alongside the superstar players, then Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Terry, so on and so forth. Shout out to Jason Terry again, by the way. So much applause. That's just such a dope story, but this is just crazy. You can't make this stuff up. He bought, is someone out there? Is there someone out there that wants to buy me the New York Knicks for my birthday? It's coming up, by the way, August 25th. My birthday is coming up. Does someone out there want to buy me the Knicks? I'd be a much better owner than James Dolan, I can tell you that much. Let's continue, let's keep going, we got more stories. So this story doesn't directly have confirmation, but what I can say is that multiple sources from around the University of Kentucky community and alumni have said that this actually happened. So back in the day when John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, that just massive recruiting class for Cal at the University of Kentucky were all there. One night, and it's just so crazy. So one night, those guys just showed up at a party. So it was Cousins, it was Wall, and it was a few other great players on that team just showed up at this party. And what happened when they walked in the door was, well, first off, everyone was just shocked that they were there. But what happened next, and I'm gonna paraphrase here because I don't want to get too crazy, too sexually explicit, but what I will say is John Wall walks in and says, "Who wants me?" Essentially that's what it is. And like 5 girls go running over to him and he just leaves. He like leaves with them. So yeah, John Wall, University of Kentucky. It's the way to do it. So much applause. There's so many stories that I could have picked that are just terrible, like allegations, crazy stuff that the NBA like bogged down just so you didn't see it. But I chose some of the lighter ones. Maybe I'll do an edition on some of the darker stories, but I like keeping the vibe light, because that's how we roll. Let's get into more. Let's go. So this next story is kind of just freaky. Back in the day, when Pete Maravich was 25 years old, he did an interview, and in that interview, he said, "I don't want to play for another 10 years and then die of a heart attack at age 40. If anyone knows Pete Maravich's story, he died of a heart attack at age 40. Just crazy. Like that's, it's just crazy. That's insane. It's crazy. Keep going. So this one's kind of more of just a fun fact than anything else, but back in the day before FIBA allowed the NBA to participate in the Olympics, it was amateurs. That's why we didn't see the superstar 7-footers be going up against like 5'8" foreign basketball players back when basketball was way less talented and there were far fewer people playing it or even cared about it or anything like that. But before that happened, yeah. The NBA just didn't have any presence in the Olympics. Kind of fun fact. This next one is pretty insane as well, and this is a story about Paul Pierce back in the day when Paul was just 22 years old. He was at a private club and he was stabbed 11 times and smashed over the head with a bottle. If you know anything about getting stabbed, you do not recover instantly from getting stabbed. That's pretty self-explanatory. Paul Pierce was the only Boston Celtic player that year, and he was stabbed severely. This is no childish game, little touch of a knife or anything like that. What happened was Paul Pierce was stabbed 11 times and hit over the head with a bottle multiple times. Paul Pierce then was the only Boston Celtic that next season to play all 82 games. Every single one. Crazy. Crazy. So that does it for this one. I had a hell of a lot of fun dishing out those stories to some of you. I will link all of my sources in the description below, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you've dropped a massive thumbs up, like 5, 10, 20, 30 thumbs up, in the form of sharing this video with a few of your friends and dropping a thumbs up yourself. My name is Buster Share. If you liked it, you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a big subscription as well. I definitely appreciate it. Bless up. And without any further ado, my name is Buster Share. I enjoy making some videos from time to time. I run Hoops Nation, and I'll see you next time. See ya.